Brodes Media.
The Eagles sucked today. The Eagles flat out sucked today. Kenneth Gainwell dropping a pass. Devontae Smith dropping a pass. DeAndre Swift with the fumble. Jalen Hurts throwing into double coverage for that final interception. Now, I'm not looking at the box score and then fully running to the conclusion that Jalen Hurts was a full-on disaster because, quite frankly, when Lane Johnson went down and then he was running around and extending plays and creating all sorts of good stuff by utilizing his legs, I thought Jalen Hurts actually did pretty solid for the most part, except for, unfortunately, the last couple of throws, which does suck, and that is the most meaningful part of a football game. But if we are playing the percentages, this is rare. This is out there. This is not the normal Jalen Hurts. Majority of the time, when this team needs to find a way, whenever we put that label with a few minutes to go or 7 minutes to go, you have the lead, can you drain the clock? More times than not, we see the opposite of this. This just unfortunately fell at a point where it sucks. You should beat Zach Wilson and the stinking awful New York Jets, especially when they are as extremely banged up as they are. You didn't take advantage of your own run game. You got away from one of your strengths. That's a Brian Johnson, Nick Sirianni problem. And by the way, that first drive, 19 plays, what was that third down call? What was that fourth down call? They have some things they need to clean up. With that said, though, this does remind me-ish of when they lost last year to the Washington Commanders. The sky was falling. That's not the case. Now, the difference is the injury bug. Now, if you want to start discussing the injuries and not knowing where we currently sit with Lane Johnson and seeing so many guys go down, Reed Blankenship with the blind side block, which apparently New Yorkers don't understand the rule book. I thought that was pretty clear. I thought that one was obvious as hell. That was a penalty. That was a good call. And the Jets even tried giving this away too. This was a battle of a disaster. This was a battle of just blah. The difference is the Jets, that's what they do. That's what they do consistently. That's who they are. This is not who the Eagles are, but the injuries are real. All right, Jack Driscoll got abused, and shame on him. All right, because even though he was put in a tough spot, Lane goes down, that's what you're supposed to be prepared to do. If somebody gets injured, this is football, by the way, so you should be recognizing that you got a good shot of getting some time whenever you lace them up. Yo, dude, come on, you got to give us a better effort than that. So some of those interceptions, the Dallas Goedert one was fluky as hell, but that gets punched out, and now your big fella in the trenches is getting an INT. And then, you know, what was the second one there? Oh, yeah, you get beat by the right side, so Jalen's arm gets hit when he throws it up, and you're basically sitting there with a pop fly, and you're Bryson Stott sitting underneath of it waiting to catch it. I mean, that's exactly what it was. That's more of a product of your offensive line. But as a team, everyone had a part of the ugliness. All right, so just because I don't think Jalen Hurts' game was as bad as what the box score indicates, when you get shut out in the second half by this team, and I don't give a damn what you want to say about, well, the Jets, their defense actually isn't that bad. Well, they got a lot of guys banged up, and I don't care. You're supposed to be an elite offense that flies and soars and scores a bunch of touchdowns. So I want to see it against a Jets team that doesn't have an offense. All right? I know that team can't move the football. Zach Wilson stinks. He blows. Were you putting your team in the best position possible by throwing the football as much as they did, even though, yes, A.J. Brown is awesome, and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and Swift, these guys are awesome in the passing game. I gotcha. I know you can definitely win on that side of the ball too, and you want to push the explosive plays and you want to take chunk yards. I get it. But are you helping out everybody involved, especially if you see how the game is going? If the game is trending a certain way, there was time when you were up just a couple of points where maybe you elect to run some clock and lean on it. Even though you're missing Lane, I still think you could have leaned on your offensive line more to create some gaps and run the clock and just get out of there with one. You go, whoo! You wipe the sweat off your forehead and you live to see another day. I don't think it's that ridiculous to think that they had plenty of golden chances, even through all the pain and all the suffering and all the bad plays, because there were a billion of them. That was so damn sloppy. I could go to the local football field here in Gloucester Township or Monroe Township or any of these townships in South Jersey and go catch a high school football game that might look cleaner than that. My God. And your defensive line did everything they possibly could, along with your quarterback throughout the majority of the game. The end was bad. But I thought I could look at Hassan Reddick and Jordan Davis got in there. Josh Sweat got in there. Fletcher Cox made a nice play. Milton Williams, after having to go down with some pain and he had an injury, he makes some noise. So between those two collection of people, quarterback and D-line, I thought for phases they were doing everything. I love that first drive play when Jalen was rolling to his right. There were two defenders on him, and he's stiff-arming them away as he's making the throw. The guy is special. It just happened to be one of those end days for him. I just can't get over the ending, though. The double coverage touchdown was crazy to me, and so was the deep shot afterwards. I just don't think that was the greatest way to go about things with the game on the line. Thought it was dumb. I thought you were forcing something. You were trying to fit a hole through a square peg. You failed, and you failed miserably. This is as bad as it gets. You just lost to the damn New York Jets. They stink. They stink. They are bad. You lost to that team that stinks. In what world? But how do you respond from it? If they go kick the Dolphins' ass, or hell, you know what? If they go win, if they beat the Dolphins by 3 next week, and it's at home, the place is rowdy, it's 8:20 at night, it's Sunday Night Football, the link is going bonkers, you got Eagles football, you got an NLCS postseason run for your baseball team, everybody here is on 1,000. If you go win by 3 on a field goal, a 52-yarder with 2 seconds to go, Jake Elliott drills it, and you beat the Dolphins 37-34, this little Jets thing, and this is what I want everybody to remember. I don't want to tell you that you're not allowed to be angry after this one. By all means, let it out. Play Monday morning quarterback. Use Monday as therapy. Get all your frustration out. By 8 o'clock, we'll be watching a baseball team beat the Arizona Diamondbacks, so it gets pushed aside. But before first pitch, if you use that time to vent and to be angry, by all means, do it. I don't want you to think because X, Y, and Z happened today, that's now going to project and happen every single week.